peeve. Pet peeve. If I seem irked, it's because I am. This, just to point out, is Medicare for all. We talk about it all the time, and we never necessarily reference what we're talking about. Medicare for all is not a subjective political point. It's not a gray area. It's not a framework. It is not something that you can make something else and then put the name on it. Medicare for all is a bill. That is an absolute. That is a flat fact. Medicare for all is a bill. If you want, you can even make it a PDF. If you notice, the person who sponsored this bill is one Senator Bernard Sanders, introduced 4/10/2019. Sanders has been talking about Medicare for all for the last 40 years, or let's say single payer for the last 40 years. However, in referencing Medicare for all, Sanders is referencing the bill that he introduced into the Senate. When we are arguing, when we're haggling, when we're making this argument that our medical system is dysfunctional, that the amount of money that we pay in a sense of our medical care is a tax, and that tax is going for corporations to maximize their profit while denying health care. When we're making the argument that the amount of money that people across the country, the 99% or the 95% of the country will bring home, will go up because the amount that they're paying for medical bills will go towards a tax, a progressive tax that cuts the amount of money that they typically pay out. That would turn around to give them essentially a payment increase, or let's say a take-home increase. We were making this argument that we pay twice as much as the rest of the world for less care. What we're talking about is this specific bill. There is a House of Representatives version created by Jamarl, Medicare for All Act of 2019, HR 138. The other one is S1129. As you know, the bills have to pass the House and the Senate, meaning you would always need a mirror version of this in the House of Representatives in order for those things to be passed, either through budget reconciliation or if you have just overwhelming numbers and you have a huge amount of political force, passed outright with a president that is open to signing. It is the way our laws work. It has to pass the House, it has to pass the Senate, and it has to be signed by the president. The legal bill, S1129, written by Bernie Sanders, Medicare for All Act 2019, it is a bill. Whatever people say otherwise about it, the truth of the matter is that Medicare for All is a bill. Bernie Sanders also gave various options on how to pay for this bill. Business, 7.5% income-based premium paid by employers, a 4% income-based premium paid by households. Now, the interesting part about this is Sanders is trying to cut the amount that businesses pay because the amount they pay for your health care, he wants that number to go down. The amount that you pay for your health care goes away at point of service. What you end up paying for is a tax based upon your ability to pay. And it is very important to get this across that this is a payment increase, meaning that the amount of money that you'll see in your checks will go up for the 95% of the country. If you are making $65,000 a year, but you're paying, let's say, $15,000 for healthcare costs, point of service goes away. The amount that you pay for drugs drops to $200 for the year. What you end up paying is in your taxes. And instead of paying $15,000, you might end up paying $5,000. But the expenses that you would typically pay goes down. That means that you see that money come directly to you in your paycheck because that's not money that you're paying for healthcare. It is dramatically important to get across. And let's keep going for this. Savings for health expenditures. Getting rid of all of this nonsense with the healthcare insurance companies, meaning all of these different companies. Even from this standpoint, meaning administrative costs. I guess my point is this. What we're arguing about this stuff, what we're arguing about is this. My pet peeve is when people call things Medicare for all that is not Medicare for all. This is either Kamala Harris talking about a 10-year plan and calling that nonsense Medicare for all, or Warren deviating from the Medicare for all bill while at the exact same time saying she's for Medicare for all. The most recent person, I would even say more egregious than the other ones, because whatever I want to think about Warren, I applaud her for putting out a bill to try to pay for it, despite the fact that I hate the fact that she broke with Sanders on this. Because she's talking about a head tax. A payroll tax allows all of us to contribute as we can contribute in a progressive way to our health care. And I argue, just like with Social Security, that the moment people believe that they are paying for their Social Security, it is difficult to rip it from them. Having it as a payroll tax put all of us invested in this process. Warren has bent herself over backwards into pretzels in order to not have an increase for the middle class. I'm not against an increase for taxes in the middle class if the amount that they save dramatically skyrockets. And Medicare for all would be a dramatic increase in the amount of take-home pay that all of us, or let's say the overwhelming majority of us, at the very least, everybody who's listening to this video, hate me or not, we'll see based on the bill. Andrew Yang is not for Medicare for all. By no stretch of the imagination is Andrew Yang for Medicare for all. And yet, brazenly, even when being nailed by a reporter that you are not for Medicare for all, aren't you being disingenuous? He still admits, I am not for this bill at all, by any stretch of the imagination. And yet, I am still claiming I am Medicare for all. He is lying. That is massively disingenuous. And I want to talk about it because Andrew Yang gets outright and completely nailed for being disingenuous on Medicare for all. I will put it to you this way. People breathlessly tell me that I should give Yang a look, that Yang is a lefty, that Yang is this, that Yang is that, and I should somehow care about Yang's campaign. I will tell you this. I did not give Yang a negative tint. I gave him a fair hearing in regards to what Yang was saying. But I have a pet peeve about people lying flagrantly. And when Yang is being called on this, he still keeps with the lie that he is somehow for Medicare for all, even though he admits, no, I'm not for the bill. He wants to put political subjective casting on this stuff in order to trick and fool people about his actual policy, when his actual policy has nothing at all to do with Medicare for all. Yang gets exposed as not being for Medicare for all, despite still wanting to claim that he is for Medicare for all. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content, please like, share, subscribe. You can always support PayPal patron. I can't sleep. When real men can't sleep, they do the news. So here I am doing the news. This bee in my bonnet triggered all that stuff. I own it. If I'm a bit bitter, yes, because I'm sick of people claiming that they're for Medicare for all when they are not for Medicare for all. Be it Warren, be it Harris, or be it Andrew Yang, who amongst all of them comes across as one of the most flagrant abusers on this. Are you for Medicare for all, Bill? No. But you still claim you're for Medicare for all? Yes. How does that work? Well, I mean, No. You can't have it both ways. Either you're for the bill or you're not. I keep saying this. This is a 1 or a 0. You cannot have it both ways. There is no gray area in this. Medicare for all is a bill. That's a flat fact. That is an absolute. God himself can't contest that with all the powers of logic that God has at his disposal. Medicare for all is a bill. You're either for that bill or you're not for that bill. You can't tell me that you're not for that bill, but you're also for Medicare for all. That doesn't work. That is not logically intact. Let's hear Yang. Yes, hear Yang. Yang is being nailed by a reporter, by the way, and he has a shit-eating grin as he essentially disingenuously tries to come up with some argument that would allow him to say that, yes, I am not for this bill that is named Medicare for All. However, I am for Medicare for All. And the reporter is looking at him like, how is that possible? The reporter is right, because it is not.
So how do you support Medicare for All and not outlaw private insurance?
Well, there's a way to provide Medicare for all that does not prohibit private insurance. And the goal has to be to demonstrate to the American people that this Medicare plan is superior to your current insurance without pulling the rug out from under you and saying that the insurance no longer exists.
Bernie Sanders' own campaign.
Just so we're clear, I don't know what he's talking about. I have no idea what he is talking about. How can you be for Medicare for all but not be for Medicare for all? I don't. Explain that to me. Explain that to me. And to pull the rug out, I have no idea what he even means on that. Everyone is covered. Even in the transition period, everyone is covered. There is no point in Sanders' plan where people are uncovered. What is the rug being pulled? How's the rug being pulled out from under you? Here's the catch. Your job chooses your insurance. That's true. And every job that I worked at, they chose the insurance. You do not get a choice in that process. You just don't. This notion that the rug is being pulled out from you is nonsense. You get a different healthcare card. Great. Everything's covered. Free at the point of sale. How is the rug being pulled out from under you? Just saying.
Manager said about your stance on this. Come on, you either
Has to be to demonstrate to the American people that this Medicare plan is superior to your current insurance without pulling the rug out from under you and saying that the insurance no longer exists.
Bernie Sanders' own campaign manager said about your stance on this. Come on, you either take on corporate greed that rots the system or you don't. That you're calling this Medicare for all, but when you ask about the substance, you still want to keep private insurance, which is not Medicare for all. How do you respond?
It's funny because we had an internal debate about this. Like, what does Medicare for all mean? If you look at it, what is it?
Right there. It's not funny. I don't find this to be funny at all. You're lying. You're being disingenuous in order to confuse the American public to believe that what you are talking about is somehow tantamount to this bill. It's not. Even the reporter recognizes it. CNN can't even get his own polls right. But even CNN looked at this and says, what you're talking about is not Medicare for all. How are you calling Medicare for all? It's funny. No, it's not. I find it not funny in the least. You are being disingenuous on purpose. I don't care what you call your plan. I don't even care that you have a different healthcare plan. God bless. People can come up with different plans and have that to be contested in regards to whether or not that's better than the Medicare for all bill that Bernie Sanders or Jay Paul has put out. You're not doing that. You want to call your plan Medicare for all because you know what I know, that the American public, for the most part, looks at Medicare for all as a gold standard, and you want to somehow get some level of that rubbed on you. I don't find this funny in the least. I find you being disingenuous. That's what I find you to be.
Does it say Medicare for all, which means that you have a Medicare program that everyone can be enrolled in?
So you're adopting the label, but not the bill.
That's correct.
You're adopting the label, but not the bill. That's correct. Yes. I want to fool people into believing that I am pushing something that is tantamount to Medicare for all. Yes, I am being massively, completely, entirely disingenuous. And you know, the sad part is, the fact that you say you had an internal debate means that you all talked about it. And somewhere along the way, in your head, you said to yourself, Medicare for all is the gold standard. I want to somehow get some level of cachet with Medicare for all and whatever I'm coming up with that's not Medicare for all. And I still come away with the conclusion that despite not supporting Medicare for all, that I am somehow calling whatever the hell I'm coming up with Medicare for all. That's astonishing. That is breathtaking in regards to disingenuousness. This is not me saying it. This is him acknowledging, no, I'm not for the bill, but I'm calling whatever the hell I'm coming up with Medicare for all.
Is that a little disingenuous to people looking for that
Yes.
that flavor
Yes.
of a Democratic candidate, but with
Yes.
if they don't know the substance of your plan?
Well,
Yes.
we're clear about the substance of our plan in various places, and we're going to have a more detailed rollout of the full plan in the days to come.
That's not her point, Yang. Her point is you are saying you're for a bill or for Medicare for all. Medicare for all is a bill. Her point to you is it not disingenuous that you are giving people this impression that you are somehow for this bill when you are in no way for this bill? Yang's answer is, well, I mean, we tell people in various places the substance of our plan. That's not her point. Her point is you're calling whatever the hell you're coming up with Medicare for all while not accepting the pretext of single-payer healthcare. That is massively and entirely disingenuous. You are lying in this process. She's caught you in this particular lie, and you are still going with this. You're still going with this. Yeah, I didn't give Yang a dark eye up to this point. It will start now. It will start now. Marcus Will, but my UBI, just $1,000, bro. Just $1,000, bro, not the healthcare. Why is this okay? Why is this so? God, you have no idea how much of a pet peeve I have with this. He's lying to you. He's lying to you. And he's just been caught and owned on this very particular lie. And his response is to keep going with the lie. To keep going with the lie. Are you for Medicare for all as a bill? No. But you're saying you're for Medicare for all. Yes. Is that not disingenuous? Well, I mean. CNN can't even get his own poll straight. CNN, right here on the left, that's CNN's own poll. Warren, 21%, Bernie Sanders, 18%. That's a lie. Actually, it's Sanders with 21% and Warren with 18%. The network that couldn't look at a page and pluck a number, you can't.
Care plan is superior to your current insurance without pulling the rug out from under you and saying that the insurance no longer exists.
Bernie Sanders' own campaign manager said about your stance on this, come on, you either take on corporate greed that rots the system or you don't. That you're calling this Medicare for all, but when you ask about the substance, you still want to keep private insurance, which is not Medicare for all. How do you respond?
It's funny because we had an internal debate about this. Like, what does Medicare mean?
So you're adopting the label, but not the bill.
That's correct.
Label, but not the bill. Yes. Isn't that disingenuous? Oh, I don't think that. I don't think that at all, despite the fact that I'm adopting label, but not the bill. Pet peeve. Pet peeve. To put it mildly. Like, share, subscribe. That video is embarrassing, by the way. If you're part of the Yang Gang, that video is embarrassing. Your candidate has just said, I am not for the Medicare for all bill. However, I do want to call whatever the hell I come up with Medicare for all, despite the fact not living up to the